everyone, it's Alyssa and welcome to You Can Learn Math.
So today we're talking about the area of a sector of a circle. Now, when you see this in your math book, it's probably going to look a little strange. It's going to look a little, what is this? I promise this is one of those things where it's new, but it's not really. It's going to use a principle that you already know, something you've already seen probably long before algebra. So first off, what is a sector? Well, if I'm looking at a circle, a sector is just a portion of it that is made by drawing two radii. Yes, that's the plural of radius. Yes, it is awkward, but what can you do? So two radii. So not like a section, like, oh, that's a sector. Nope. Oh, that's a sector. Nope. It's going to be formed by two radii, like that, like that, like that. Any of these forms a sector of a circle. So what's going to be in your math book is going to look something like this. It's probably going to say theta over 360 times pi r squared. And you're like, oh, another formula. Oh, I'm so tired of formulas. This one is a new formula, but also it isn't. Stay tuned. So what is going on here? Now I'm going to leave this here, but I'm going to move it off to the side so we can really talk about what's happening mathematically, where this formula comes from. And hopefully that will help you understand it a bit more and help you remember it and then use it more easily. Let's think about, if I had a very warped cup and I told you this was a 16-ounce cup and it was halfway full of water. It's half full. And I asked you how many ounces are in the cup, and you go, oh, well, if 16 is full, it's only half. What's half of 16? Half of 16 is 8. Now, you probably know off the top of your head that half of 16 is 8. But if we were to write this as a little mathematical expression, we would say a half times 16 equals 8. Same thing if I told you that it was not halfway full, but it was 1/4 full. Okay, what's a quarter of 16? Again, you might know that off the top of your head. A quarter of 16 is 4. But if we were to write it out, we would say 1/4 times 16 equals 4. So I know that is 4 ounces. And it wouldn't matter what fraction I gave you right here, you would still do the same step. If I told you it was 15/16 full, you would say 15/16 times 16 ounces equals 15. It is 15 ounces. There's 15 ounces in there. So that principle, we're going to set up a proportion to show what portion of the object is being represented or filled up, times the total possible amount gives us our answer. All right, so keep that concept in mind. And now let's go back over to our circle. And that's what's happening with this. That's what's happening there. But I'm going to erase this just for the time being, and we'll come back to it. Let's say that I had a line straight through the middle of this circle. So it's very clear that I've divided it in half. If I told you, and you not knowing this, theta over 360 times pi r squared, you were just given the problem of saying, here is a circle. It's been divided in half, and I want to know what this half over here, went outside the lines a little bit, oh well, this half, what the area of this half is. And I'm giving you that it's a radius of 6 inches. You might go, okay, well, if I know the area of the whole circle, I can just say what's half of that. I can do that. Okay, what's area of a circle? Well, my area formula is pi r squared. Side note, if you need a refresher or practice on area and circumference of a circle, I have a video on that. Link is below. I'm just going to assume we're all cool with this and we all like, oh yeah, I got this. I got area. I know it. So moving on. So area equals pi r squared. Okay, so my radius is 6. I'm going to multiply that by pi. So 6 squared is 36. All right, 36 pi. My units are inches. My area is 36 pi inches squared. Okay, so that's the full circle, and this is only half of that circle. So what is half of 36 pi? That is 18 pi. That's a weird 8, isn't it? 18 pi inches squared. And that's my area. And you'd be absolutely 100% right. Now, when it's like that, where you can easily see that it's half the circle, that initial fraction there, half, is pretty easy to come up with. But what if it's something unusual? Like, what if it was, they told you that it was, like 61 degrees? Like, what fraction is that? Well, let's see what's happening here. Where did this half actually come from? And we can't say, I looked at the circle and I could tell it was a half. That will never get you points on a math test. Like, sorry, in math, we got to prove things. We just have to. So let's look at this. This is a straight line. What is the angle measure of a straight line? It is 180 degrees. Like if you have two 90-degree angles, they make a straight line. 90 plus 90 is 180. So there you go. So 180 degrees. How many degrees are in a full circle? 360. So this was 180 degrees out of a possible 360. And if I simplify that fraction, 180 over 360, I get 1/2. That's it. That's where that half came from. We didn't just look at it and go, oh, it's a half a circle. Well, we did, but you know what I mean. It came from saying 180 over 360. So that is the principle. That's the process we're going to use no matter what angle. So let's leave, I'm going to erase this bottom one. I'm going to leave that 36 pi inches squared because I'm not changing the circle, but I am going to change the sector. So let's say I had this one that is 72 degrees, and we're still in this 6-inch circle, and I want to find the area of that sector. So for this one, same thing I just mentioned, we'll say, okay, it's 72 degrees in this sector out of a total 360 in that circle. And the area that we've determined up here of the entire circle is 36 pi inches squared. And I want to multiply that. Now, a helpful piece of advice here, if it's at all possible, simplify these fractions before you multiply. It's going to make your life so much easier. Just trust me on this. Trust me. All right, so 36 pi, we're going to multiply it by a fraction. The better way to do that, or the way to do that, I should say, is you put 36 pi over 1. Anytime you're multiplying a whole number by a fraction, put it over 1, and then you multiply the numbers on top, and you multiply the numbers on the bottom. But again, if you can simplify beforehand, that's great. There's no right or wrong way to simplify. In fact, there's multiple ways. One way, if you're kind of a math nut like me, you'd look over here and go, oh, 72 goes into 365 times. Yes, I know. My brain works weird. I certainly do not expect that to be a common realization for most people doing this, to go like, of course, 72 times 5 is 360. No, not at all. One thing you might notice is you go, 36 and 360. 36 goes into 36 one time. It goes into 360 10 times. And then I might go, okay, that helps. But wait, 72 and 10 are both even. So I can divide them both by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 72 divided by 2 is 36. Oh, that helps a lot. So now on top, I have 36 times 1 times pi, which is 36 pi. And on the bottom, I have 5 times 1, which is just 5. And that's it. That is the final answer, 36 pi over 5 inches squared. And it does not need to be simplified any further. Now, if I had not if I had not simplified that first, it would have been, let's see this, 2,592 pi over 360. And that would have been a booger to try to simplify. So if you can simplify these fractions before you multiply, it'll make your life a whole lot easier. So as you can see, when we set this up, and I'm going to get rid of our little simplification notes here just so we can kind of go back to that core of what we did just when we were setting everything up. Like what did we actually do? Change this to 36 pi, take it off its fraction for a second. There we go. So what did we actually do? We took the angle of the sector, we put it over 360, and we multiplied by the area. And the area we got from the formula, area equals pi r squared. Well, what was our initial formula for area of a sector? It said theta. Theta in this case just means the angle of the sector. I know it's a strange notation, but that is the notation. So theta just means the angle of the sector over 360 times pi r squared, the area of the circle. So we got to that same conclusion. We've reverse engineered, we've created this formula. Yay, us. And that's where it comes from, and that's how you use it. One last thing of note, this is important when you're at this point where you have the answer, in this case 36 pi over 5 inches squared. Please, please, please pay close attention to either what your teacher has told you as to how he or she wants the final answer to be presented, or what the directions are in your math book or on a worksheet or the quiz or the exam, the test, whatever. There's a couple different ways. Make sure you know what they want. If you see the phrase in terms of pi, I want the answer in terms of pi, leave it like this. You are done. 36 pi over 5. Don't multiply. Don't do anything. You're done. If it says use 3.14 for pi, if it tells you what to use, then do that. Plug it in right there. 36 times 3.14, divide by 5. There's your answer. The other one that you may see is give the answer rounded to the nearest hundredth or the nearest thousandth. If it says that, it's wanting you to use the pi button on your calculator to be very precise. So do 36 times the pi button, divide that by 5, and then whatever answer you get, round it to their specifications. So just be careful on that. There's nothing sadder, I think, in a math exam is where you did all the work right and you still get it marked wrong because you put the answer differently than how they wanted it. So we don't want that to happen. So there you go. That is area of a sector.
I hope you enjoyed that today. If it was helpful, useful in any way, please like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye.